about to turn the corner, and then things just didn't work out. Fields rushed for, I think, what was it, 190?
163, 190 scrimmage yards with receiving.
Okay, and how many receiving yards do you have?
27.
Yeah, I mean, good by him because that's a top 25 team, and they're what did they give up? What were they averaging? Like 120 some odd rushing a game. I mean, so our guys had a good plan. We ran the football really well, and it set up some other things. And Sam Jackson made some plays with his legs and improvised on a few. And there was times in there it was pretty exciting. And proud of our defense for coming out in the third quarter. And I think they had 40 some odd yards the third quarter. We made them punt back to back. Almost made them punt 3 times there. They hit a 3rd and 16. Guy made a great throw into traffic and just worked out. And I don't know what to say. As boring as this is going to sound, I mean, we're going to go back to the drawing board. We're going to find the guys that want to keep fighting. We're going to get in there, and we're going to do the best we can as coaches to go get the next one. And we got 5 more left, and here we go. All right.
Doug, can you talk a little bit about just the new voice on offense, playing calls, and the job that Coach Johnson did tonight?
Yeah, Kevin did a great job, real calm. They were very organized. They did a great job communicating. There wasn't a whole lot of it was just real solid performance from him. His play calling was good. They put together a really good run plan, some trip, snub stuff, and then some unbalanced, and it gets that extra safety out of the box a little bit and creates some running lanes up in there because that's kind of their primary run stoppers, that extra safety. And some of the formation stuff and the motions and the shifts, they did kind of neutralize that guy a little bit and create some running lanes. So it was pretty good. It's a good job by him.
The unbalanced stuff seemed to really be beneficial. Was there anything else in the run game that really kind of stood out about what y'all were doing right tonight?
Well, they had some good RPO stuff. They had some misdirection. Some of the zone read business was really good. They had a variety of plays. I think altogether they had a pretty good group of plays. Like in terms of what we normally had, they had a lot more run scheme than probably we normally had. And based on kind of what we've been doing the last couple of weeks, it's probably a good idea. So those guys put together a really good plan in a short amount of time with a shift in who was calling and all that kind of stuff. So just hat off the offensive guys. They did a good job.
So was Kevin kind of running building the schemes? Was that
well, I think they collectively build those things, but he called it. So
Talk about the growth of the offensive line, I guess, with the reps this deep in the season. Are you seeing them just play better and better?
Yeah, they're playing better. Unfortunately, we had another guy hurt, and Sanders came in, did a good job, and he hadn't played much this year, but hopefully, I would say the most consistent group so far is probably the O-line. They've done a good job, and they're well coached, and I'd say those guys are the most consistent bunch, and at times have played really well.
What did you think of the crowd tonight, and just?
It's phenomenal, unbelievable. What a great atmosphere. You thought we were up 21. Whatever you call the shirtless people, it's pretty awesome. Again, and it's got a little nippy out there. I'm looking up there like I probably put my shirt back on and go sit down somewhere, but they did a phenomenal job. I'm not real clear on what the banana people, what that was all about, but is there something that nobody really knows? So they went up there and had a banana peel, I guess is what they said. So that was pretty awesome. But no, it's just college kids having fun, being at a football game. It's just, it's pretty cool, and a lot of those kids are up there. They're going to have a lot of memories, and that'll be part of it. They're just having a good time. I appreciate it. I appreciate them and what they did during the game. It was unbelievable. So,
what makes Rodney so effective for y'all?
Rodney can get small through tight spaces. He's got enough body twitch. It can kind of he's shifty. He can stop and start. And he's compact, and he's got just enough. His short speed's really good. You know what I mean? Like his short speed's really good. Within a 5-yard box, he's really twitchy and quick, and he's got some power to him, and he's low center of gravity. So he's gonna have a bright future. Yeah.
You
mentioned you guys were close to turning the corner a couple times. What are sort of those next steps that you guys need to take to get to that?
Well, I mean, we had the pick six was unfortunate. I don't know how great the route was. A little bit later on the throw. Just some little minor miscues that turned catastrophic. You know what I mean? It's like a little bitty thing, and it just completely implodes on us. And we got to find ways to not put our kids in those positions that it could occur, and then find ways to alleviate that and neutralize all that. But, we were doing some really, really good things, and there's about 5 plays in there that make it look really, really bad at times, But there's a body of 60 other plays that look pretty good, But unfortunately, those 5 or 6 that didn't look good were catastrophic, like this. Something, we had a bad snap there at the end, and they got it back, and then we had, the pick six. It could have, not that there's a moral victory in this thing here, because we want to win, but it definitely would have looked a little bit better at the end of the day had a couple of those things not happened late in the fourth. So
Y'all struggled at times, especially in the third quarter, to sort of keep the offense out on the field. Could you sense something different out there?
Yeah, I mean, we're just running the ball really well. I think. Kind of had them defensively guessing a little bit, and they did a good job of some of the naked bootleg stuff. And then, as a D coordinator, you're sitting there and, Sam just taking off is kind of scary, I think, at times. He's kind of hard to put your hands on, and it makes you kind of vanilla up a little bit, so to speak, because if you take risks and he hits air, I mean, he can go. So. Thought he made some really good decisions for the most part, and there's a couple of times that wasn't very good, but just proud of the guys, man. Just hate it. I want to win for them so bad, and I know they do too, and our fans and everybody. So.
5, 6 plays. How big was that third and one snap? And you guys had 28-17 driving. How big was that?
Yeah, it's just like, again, it's and I think we ended up not scoring on that, right? So I mean, it's just. You need a half a yard or whatever, and it didn't work out. And, at some point, I've been on teams where we won games we probably shouldn't have won, and the ball just kind of bounced our way at times. Not that that's not what you're shooting for, but maybe at some point the ball will bounce our way, and we'll be there at the end,
Go ahead.
Is that kind of what you talked to the team about? Obviously they're going to be frustrated with the loss, but a lot more things worked out well.
Yeah, I was just telling how much we were proud of them as coaches because of their fight. Even in defense, they were fighting. They were into it. There was a lot of communication, you felt a lot of energy, a lot of juice with the defense in the huddle, and the offense too. And they were encouraging, and our thing today was, we need all of us. We need the guys that aren't even playing to be in those huddles and encouraging, and they did a really good job of that. I mean, I was proud of that part. If you have to look for small victories, I mean, that's one. I think everybody realizes this is a pretty tough situation, and we know that, but it's no excuse. But at the same time, for what they do with their attitudes and how they fought, I was just proud of them, and just want to win so bad, for everyone.
Says he got some run late last week.
Yeah, he looks good, huh?
Yeah. What have you seen? He didn't play a ton before that, besides the opener.
Well, he's been nicked up too, He's been hurt. And then we kind of went a different path with Trent and that type of thing. And he kind of once he finally got healthy, those other 2 guys were kind of in the forefront there. But he showed up at practice once he's kind of gotten healthy, and I mean, he's got some skill, man. He's shifty as well. He's kind of got some of the same things that Rodney has, but just the strength in numbers. You got another weapon you can throw out there. We need him, so he did really well, I thought.
You talked about the crowd, but was the energy on the sideline different? It looked
it's still good. I mean, it's like I know it's homecoming, but it just I don't know, man. It's like it's encouraging to see the fans react to the game the way they did, even though, our outcomes hadn't been what they want. Because it could be the other way real easy. I've seen it, where you're getting booed out of the stadium. That's not our fans, Like I said before, a lot of our fan base, they went here, and it means a lot to them. And they're not bandwagon fans. They're real fans because it means a lot to them. And how they respond during that game and the kind of the mojo up in the stands, it helps. And just, like I say, I've said 5 times, we just want to get a win for them,
Advantage of opportunities. Quentin Stewart, a guy who hasn't caught a lot of passes, had a big catch for
Who's
you.
that?
Stewart, tight end.
Yeah, how about that? And I thought he's going to go to the house, and he's been nicked up. He had the ankle thing. He's got his ankle looks like it's in a cast almost. It's so big, but gotta love that guy too, man. He's always smiling, always works hard. He's encouraging, and that was pretty cool to see him have a big play like that. I thought he was going to score, but that was awesome.
Felt like Sam looked a little more confident out there with the offense. Did you feel like he did look more confident?
Yeah, he's a little bit more confident. He's just had a whole nother week of playing the position, and for him, he'll just get better and better and better as we go, and confident. I think you saw a little bit more of a confident player out there because he did a good job with the comms, and I think the game's slowing down a little bit for him as to what we're doing. And anytime you can run a football like that, it takes a lot of pressure off of the guy taking all the snaps. When you got to make a play with your arm and your legs every single time the ball snapped, that's a lot of pressure. So I think he's getting some confidence because we're able to run a football a little bit better, and a lot better actually, and it just helps him.
2 more, we'll get to Coach Bowen.
A little bit more of an appearance for Terrell Davis in the receiving game. Was he someone that you wanted to try to get more targets?
Yeah, you look at what he did prior to getting here. He had 116 catches for a ginormous about 5 miles worth of receiving where he came from, and I know it's in him. But for whatever reason, it just hadn't really the ball just hadn't found him as much. But yeah, he's such a good kid, and you want him to have one of those 8-catch, 20-yard games at some point, and hopefully it'll happen.
Last one. All good?
Okay, thank you guys, appreciate it.
All right, here we go. I got no opening comment.
Well, Coach, what was the key to the turnaround there in the third quarter?
We have a young team. Our guys have played a lot of football, and all those things in the first half were really self-inflicted wounds. Just a guy. Kind of hard to admit, just making a mistake out of a gap, just a little bit late on a coverage. But all those things that happened in the first half were really on us. I'm not saying because Cincinnati played an unbelievable game, the quarterback played an unbelievable game, and they're a very efficient offense. But in reality, in the first half, we made way too many mistakes on our own. We go into halftime, and our kids, they're bought in. They've seen themselves improve. They're a great group of guys, and they go in the halftime, and it's not a panic. There's no one yelling at each other. There's not any of that stuff going on. We, with the beauty of college football now, you get to watch the video in the locker room. We show them the plays. We talk about maybe changing a couple things here or there, to get shored up on some stuff, and the kids took the plan out there and executed. I'm not one of those guys believing in a silver lining, but I am very happy with the way our kids responded and stuck together throughout that game, and I think it says a lot about them.
What was your sort of message to them at halftime?
It was a simple message that we showed them probably the 5 plays that are just you just do what you're supposed to do. You just do your simple job, which actually has been our theme for a couple weeks about. You just got to handle your 1/11th part of everything, and showed them the plays that they did it. Said just calm down, stick together, play together, do your job, and let's see if Cincinnati can make the plays to beat us. Let's see if we can actually do our job, compete one-on-one, and let's make them earn it, make them win. And they won their battles. They won some, but it wasn't anything crazy. It was just do our job, do what we do, and go out there and try to make it a game. And I felt like our kids There's obviously the two critical situations, the drive right before the half and the 3rd and 16 are critical parts in the game, and we lost both of those battles. But there's progress in there that I see on a daily basis that unfortunately is not caught up enough to make us competitive to win games right now. But I believe our kids see it, and I believe they're starting to buy in a little bit more. I feel better about the next few weeks than probably most people.
You mentioned their buy-in. Just from a big picture level, what have you learned about some of your guys as they have bought in, even despite difficult circumstances?
It's kind of like I told him before the game, the worst thing that happens to you, and you start listening to all these people, is the old hang in there. I go to the unbelievable homecoming walk last night, and everyone that sees me gives me the hang in there. Hey, how you going? And I shared with the kids a story. Finally, I got to the guy and I said, he's like, man, I'd hate to be you. And I was like, hate to be me? Like, are you kidding me? I get to coach an amazing group of young men in a Power 4 college football game on ESPN. I was like, what are you going to do tomorrow? Clean your garage? I'd hate to be you. This is an unbelievable university and situation, and I know no one's happy with losing, but we're going to keep battling, and we have a group of kids who are trying their best to get better. The ones that have stuck with us, they should be commended for it, for this landscape of college football, and them to hang in there and fight through what everyone's trying to tell them is wrong. There's nothing wrong. We got a group of young men who are learning some valuable lessons about what it means to be great teammates, and we're going to continue to push that.
You mentioned the landscape of college football, and I know you're tired of the question, but are you going to be glad when that portal window's exhausted next week and you don't have to worry about it anymore?
Yeah, I'm not worried about it. I believe that the kids that are with us right now are with us till the end, and if they're not, we'll throw the indispensable man at them and say, whatever it is, put your hand in the water up to your wrist, pull it out, and that's the measure you'll be missed. The hold that's left is the measure you'll be missed. We'll live with that. That's the way the game of football works. It's a cruel business, and it has been for a long time. I've been relieved of my duties before, and you look back, and all them dudes you thought loved you, they're loving the next guy just as much. As soon as you leave, that hole closes pretty quick, but it's a great lesson for all of us that just take advantage of the opportunity when you can, and that's what we're going to try and do.
What do you think motivates these guys that stayed, that stuck around and are still playing?
I think they're competitive kids. I think they have a competitive nature about them, that they want to improve. I think some of it is, I think everyone wants to have a purpose, and I think a lot of these kids have found a purpose in whether it's getting themselves individually better, a purpose of sticking together as a team. There starts to become a little bit of, you get your back against the wall and you got a certain group of guys fighting, and I think there's some of that in there. But I think the biggest one is that they're competitive kids that want to be as good a football player as they possibly can, and when you show them that you can help them do that, then it starts to get a little bit of momentum and starts to steamroll with the kids believing in the coaching and believing in what's happening, and then they start to play. I really do. I may be way more optimistic than a lot of people that will start playing better as this season goes on.
What is sort of that next step that you want to see these guys take?
Well, we have to learn how to play hard. Like we're kind of and I hate to say this, but there's playing hard, and then there's like that unbelievable strain to get your job done, and we haven't learned that next step yet of what it truly takes to strain beyond what you believe is even possible yourself to start to go, and we have to get there. We have to get there at all 11 spots, and I think we have some guys that can do that. But there's the margin of error in college football is so small. And our guys have to understand that the perfect stance, the perfect step, the perfect eye placement, everything has to be perfect. And that just gives you a chance to win. You know what I mean? Because that guy across from you is already doing that probably. And so that true strain and focus to play this game at such an efficient level is where we got to go.
You mentioned the 3rd and 18 play. I'm guessing you felt pretty good about that until he goes and threads the needle on you, because it looked like you had it covered pretty well.
Hey, and I talked to my man, the Sorsby kid, before the game, and I told him that I thought he should be on the national scene, because I really do. I was all week long. It was nice to watch that kid play. He not only is a really good football player. When you watch the behind the scenes thing, he's a really good teammate. I've never seen him palms up a teammate. All I've ever seen that guy was encouraging his teammates. Always had energy running around the field. Always I was really impressed with him going into that deal. And I told him that before the game. I had a chance to talk to him before the game a little bit. I hunted him down, but that 3rd and 16, he threw the ball at the wrong spot. He got lucky on that one. Now, it was a dart, but ball should have went to the other side. I mean, we should not have lost that play. We're thinking screen, draw, something along those lines. And, they had a front side dig. He threw it to a backside guy that, quite honestly, we had doubled up. And he threw such a good ball that he made up for it.
Last one, we've got players here.
Y'all's offense has y'all have had stops in the second half recently in some of these games, but at the time your offense has struggled to stay on the field. How much did it help tonight that y'all were getting stops at the same time your offense was moving the ball and keeping y'all on the sidelines?
Oh, what the offense did in the first half gave us a chance, because we were obviously, they go 4 possessions, 4 touchdowns. It was as bad a defense as you could play right there. But the offense controlling the ball, limiting those possessions till we could get ourselves figured out a little bit, kind of kept it in there. Ifs don't matter, but if that 3rd and 18, we reroute the hitch and go that they tried to run, which shouldn't have been thrown, and we get that stop, all of a sudden it becomes a ball game. Things get a little bit tighter on their sideline. Our fans get into it a little bit more. Kids get more excited, and I really wish we could have had that opportunity to see how that would have played out. Yep. Thank you, guys.